Okay, good morning. It is August 11th, day number 7. It is 5:47 and 51.1 degrees. I'm waking up. All right, it is 6:47 in the morning, 53.8 degrees. I'm just about to cross the bridge out of Glen Allen. Wonderful night. Just a fair warning, today is going to be a lot of chatter on this video. I have a health update. Crazy stuff happened yesterday. I got to go through Tuolumne to pick up a permit. I don't know which permit yet, blah, 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 blah. A lot of blabber today's video, so if you don't like the blabbering videos, skip this one. So we'll start with yesterday. Yesterday, I was down here by myself for a couple hours, more or less by myself for a couple hours. I was able to chat with the guy who, I guess, cooks. So they have like a cabin system. We can kind of rent these sort of like tent cabin things. They're quite expensive, a couple $100, but includes dinner and breakfast cooked by people who live on site here. So that's pretty cool. But I was chatting with him. I was like, oh, is there any way you might have some extra dinner? And he's like, yeah, we can make you a plate for $50. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot. So he was like, well, dinner should be over by 7:45. Come by. Let's see what we can do for you. So great. So I filed that away. Ate my couscous for lunch. And then hung out down by the waterfall. Got my socks all washed up my body some, and just hung out. It's really, really nice. Some other people showed up, all sorts of people showed up. A group of 12 dudes, probably like in their 60s, all showed up with a ton of booze. I was able to restrain myself. I enjoyed myself, but I restrained myself. So they were super nice fellows from like Newport Beach and where else? Palm Springs and stuff. I guess they've been doing this for like, I don't know, 15 years or something, coming out together. A huge group of 12 of them. Isn't that awesome? Here's a really great bridge over the Tuolumne River, the foot of Tuolumne Falls. That view's excellent. And then I'll turn the camera around. The other view's excellent as well. Look at that. Look at that. Golly. Well, anyway, so hung out with those guys, hung out with that group of 4 women who made up some part of the people with whom I camped at whatever, Stubblefield Canyon. Yeah, all sorts of great people showed up, hanging out all night. And then sure enough, at 7:45, went by and my dude Tony slid me some nice steak, some broccoli. It's awesome. I gave him $20, so fair trade. Yeah, so that was yesterday. Today, again, 6 miles to get to Tuolumne Meadows. I'm currently permitted to go down Rafferty Creek to get into Yosemite Valley. I would very much prefer to get to Yosemite Valley by way of the official JMT. So I'm gonna see if they have the ability to get me one of those permits. If they do, great. If they don't, not the end of the world at all. So I can take my Rafferty Creek. Let's see. I think that's it for now. 6 miles to get to Tuolumne Meadows. I'll be there in a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, something like that. I will snap off for now, but I'll be back to blabber a lot more later, so see you then. right, so it is 9:29 in the morning. I just jammed with the rangers over at the Wilderness Center in Tuolumne, Meadows. I have been able to get a permit to get me down into the valley along Sunrise Lakes. That would look like taking a trail that immediately abuts the road for a couple miles and then detouring off into Sunrise Lakes tonight. That is better than the permit I was holding, which is Rafferty Creek. They were able to transfer my Rafferty Creek permit over to my Sunrise Lakes permit, so that's great, save whatever, 15 bucks or something. I am waiting because there is one group of 3 who has yet to pick up their permit for the official Cathedral Lake / JMT trail to get down to the valley. All other groups have picked up their permits, and there are no permits outstanding from those who have already picked up their permits. But if this group of 3 either does not show up or is fewer than 3 by 11 a.m., then I'm able to get their permits. That's an hour and a half from now. Meanwhile, I'm charging some batteries. I'm going to post up. Luckily, the cash that Shade was going to drop off for me, she did indeed drop off, and I found without any issues at all. So thanks so much, Shade. I'm going to shuffle around some food, just kind of relax, dump some trash, and hopefully before 11, or hopefully at 11, I'm able to get the ideal permit, but we'll kind of see. We'll see. All right, it is 10:59. I am leaving Tuolumne Meadows Wilderness Center, freshly permitted with a Cathedral Lakes permit. So very, very, very exciting. This, of course, means that I will be moving from Tuolumne Meadows down to Yosemite Valley by way of the official JMT. So how exciting. Past 2 p.m. Check that out, Cathedral Peak. Today, of course, is day 7, first of several health updates. So again, this is going to be a chatty video. Feel free to skip this bit if you're not interested to know how my body and gear are doing, but thought this was a nice spot. We are just a touch under a mile from Cathedral Pass. I'm going to start with the body. I'm going to start at the bottom of the body. Feet are doing pretty well. I did have some blisters kick up on day 3 or so, but again, kind of drained those, covered those, no issues, haven't filled back up. Feet are doing great. I credit that to a lot of training over the summer. I was walking to work every day, 8 miles, and then of course did the Nijmegen Vierdaagse with my buddy Martin over in Holland, so that was really cool. Yeah, so my feet were pretty tough. I also mentioned earlier in the week about my ankle, my right ankle specifically. Luckily that hasn't gotten too terribly much worse just yet. It has remained sort of more stuffy is the way I would describe it versus painful. Just a little stuffy. I don't really know how else to describe it. Yeah, aside from that, calves, knees, great. Hips, great. Gut, doing okay. I'm not eating a ton of food so far, but that's to be expected. This is just the way it's gone for me with previous long hikes. But I think I'm turning a corner. I'm starting to get hungrier, so that's good. Yeah, shoulders, body, hands, face, I have a lot of that. Really, really good. Doing really well. So generally, state of the body, quite nice. Should say I've been dealing with sort of a sinus or general sort of cold symptoms for the past 3 weeks or so, going all the way back to my time in Europe. And so far, manageable. I mean, not ideal, but manageable. I believe it may be exacerbated by the condition of the terrain underfoot and it being so dusty. I'm just breathing dust particles. The other morning, woke up with a nosebleed, but you know, so little, you know, just little things, nothing crazy. So onto gear. generally doing very well, happy with my sleeping pad. I'm just, disappointed that the pump broke. Still haven't decided whether I'm going to replace it. Don't think I need to. I am also a little disappointed with my solar panel. I really liked it on the CDT. It seemed to work very well, but the one I got out for the PCT didn't work as well. And now the one I've gotten out for this JMT++ seems also to not be working very well. At Glen Allen yesterday, I plugged in a battery and sat it in full sun for hours and hours and hours, and it generated very, very little juice in the battery. So this person coming, hang on. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so frankly I'm even considering ditching the solar panel altogether, because if it's not worth the wait, I just as soon not carry it. So we shall see. Another piece of gear I'm not super in love with is my Sawyer Squeeze water filter. I was trying to pinch pennies, bring out the same filter I finished the PCT with last year, but I think it's just not working great. So I think first opportunity I'm probably going to go ahead and replace it, because I just get frustrated filtering water, taking that much time to filter water. So yeah, so that's that. And as far as gear, that's been working very well. Very happy with my Sea to Summit Eros UL pillow. That has been working very nicely. Sleeping quite comfortably with it. Speaking of sleep, I have, for all of my subsequent long hikes and for this hike as well, carried an 1/8 inch foam mat, which typically I've used beneath my sleeping pad, which is, I will confess, perhaps gratuitously redundant, but is what it is. Anyways, I brought it up for this hike as well, and I have been using it in a different capacity, which I'm very happy with. I've been rolling it up somewhat and sleeping with it beneath sort of my hips. I found that with my sleeping pad, while it is generally very comfortable, I think just sort of the physics of sleeping on a pillow filled with air means that my hips don't get quite as much support as I would like. So that 1/8 inch foam mat is perfect. Let's see, other gear that I'm super happy with. Huge shout out of appreciation to my buddy Farrell, because that exfoliating mitt, which he put me hip to and which I'm carrying for this hike, has been awesome. Some of these alpine lakes, just being able to clean up. I want to just mention as a caveat that I'm not wearing any chemicals, so if you're wearing bug spray or sunscreen and stuff, you should probably resist the urge to jump into a lake. But I'll wash the sunscreen off my face away from the lake and then jump in with just that exfoliating mitt and clean up, and it's been awesome. I think that's about it for body stuff. Gear stuff. I did just want to go back because I thought of kind of the most important thing that I wanted to mention about body is that I was acutely concerned about jumping out on this hike and starting at such severe elevation. I mean, my shakedown hike, I broke 10,000 feet, and then, I'm a sea level dweller, so I was a little concerned about that. So much so that I procured and have been carrying a bunch of Diamox, is a medication that's supposed to help with acclimatization to altitude. Well, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to take the Diamox, but I thought better to carry it. So I've been carrying it, and I have not been taking it. Wound up deciding that I would rather keep clear the line of communication between my mind and my body, and that introducing a medication, particularly a medication with which I'm not familiar, could only muddy that. Even if it were to be helpful, it would just muddy that communication, and I value the communication more than I value comfort or whatever, ease of acclimatization, which leads, of course, to the point that I have been completely thrilled with my acclimatization. Obviously, there's thinner air. Obviously, the climbs are harder at thinner air. So, you know, I might have to slow down. I might have to take air breaks. And that's fine. I expected that. But I've been sleeping great. I've been recovering overnight. And I've had no, you know, headaches or nausea or some of the other stuff that people complain about at altitude. So I could not, frankly, have dreamed of a better experience moving so abruptly to such elevation. So happy I put forth the thought in, you know, doing small miles and stuff. I don't think the fretting was a waste, but it wound up being unnecessary. So very happy with how it's gone. With that, I'm almost to the pass, so I'm sure the next clip will be my check-in from the pass. All right, folks, it is 2:20 in the afternoon. It is 74.8 degrees, somewhere thereabouts. I am just a little bit beyond Cathedral Pass. Must have missed it somewhere back there behind me. It turns out I crossed the pass and then continued climbing. Not certain of the elevation of Cathedral Pass. I'm trying to put Cathedral Peak into the view there. I think at 10,800 feet. But certainly the pass itself is somewhere below 10,000 feet. So I promise I did not mean to lie to you when I said that all subsequent passes would be 5 digits. This one indeed is 4 digits. But I wound up getting a permit I did not yet have squared away. So anyways, I'm taking Cathedral Pass. This is Cathedral Pass. This is the 4th of what shall remain, at least so far, a total of 18 passes on this hike. So. Very good evening, folks. It is 4:30 in the afternoon. It is 67.3 degrees. I have made it to home for the night at the end of what is my longest mileage day so far on this big adventure. 17.2 miles. Did about 2,800 feet of elevation gain, 1,300 feet of elevation loss, or something like that. And I am at, oh gosh, what's it called? Sunrise, probably Sunrise. High Sierra Camp, I think is what it's called. Really cool spot. Really happy with the spot I got. It is Sunrise High Sierra Camp indeed. Looking off this way, you can see a beautiful mountain range, sort of the most prominent and textured, just kind of between those trees, sort of in the dead center of the frame. That is Vogelsong Peak at, what was it, like 11.4 or something like that. So really nice. Called Sunrise, of course, because if you can't tell by the shadows, the sunrise will be happening off just across that broad meadow there. Yeah, super happy with how today went. I'm not going to blabber away too long. It's already been a pretty blabbery video, but I do have a couple things to say. For one, we are pitched up cowboy style. I'm pitched up on just a ton of granite, so I don't really care enough to figure out how to mount my tent stakes with rocks and stuff. I'm just going to cowboy camp. It should be great. I am camped, however, at 9,300 feet of elevations. Excuse me. So not particularly low down either, so it might get a little chilly. I am going to zip up my sleeping bag tonight just in case. I'm going to plan on doing that. Super happy that I was able to get this Cathedral Peaks or whatever, Cathedral Pass, Cathedral Lakes permit. This is great. That means I'm able to hike this into Yosemite Valley on the official JMT, which kind of definitely appeases my purist brain of wanting to be able to claim the full JMT. So that's great. I also kind of set myself up kind of nicely with this big mileage day. My plan right now is that I will sleep here tonight. I will hike out of here tomorrow. I will set up my tent. I will leave my tent right where it is with the majority of the contents of my pack, and then I will hike up Half Dome tomorrow, and then come back to where my tent is set up, camp where my tent is. So a little convoluted. Hopefully it makes sense. I don't know. Yosemite's kind of weird. Logistics are kind of weird, but I think that makes a lot of sense. And the day after tomorrow, I'll be able to have a nice, easy little jaunt down to Yosemite Valley and meet up with Shade and Rabbit, which is super exciting. So anyways, that is the end of day 7, the end of my first week out here. And I'm going to go ahead and get some dinner going and process some video and all that. And I'll talk to you guys in the morning.
Traveling beat with the earth beneath my feet.
So I don't really need water, but I just stumbled upon my favorite type of water source in the outdoors. This is just about 2 miles compass north of Cathedral Pass. What you can see here, first starting sort of uphill of the spring, no water at all. Downhill of the spring, plenty of water. And it's percolating straight up from underground. Artisanal spring. Love this.
Beneath my feet, I will walk to the rhythm of a traveling beat.